Hey everybody, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. On today's episode of the podcast slash vlog, I've got a pretty special episode for you. I'm actually going to have a number of folks from the overlanding, off-roading, vehicle outfitting, just general gear and vehicle modification and adventure community on kind of a roundtable chat. So I think this one's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a number of different folks and personalities in here, so it should be a good chat. So we'll cut to that here in just a second. So if you're listening on the podcast, thanks for coming by and listening there. And if you're watching on YouTube, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button down below to be notified when I drop new videos. I do new vlogs and podcasts like this every week, and I also do gear reviews. I do Xterra content, so there's just tons of stuff here. So if you enjoy it, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and look forward to talking to you guys more in the future. So hey everybody, welcome to the show. Fletch from All Things Overlanding here, and tonight I'm excited because I've got a ton of people from the adventure slash overlanding slash gear sales slash vehicle outfitting. I mean, there's everything, right? Everything to do with overlanding, adventures, off-roading, anything like that with me tonight. So thank you guys for being here. I'm going to kind of just let everybody kind of talk a little bit about who they are and what their business is so that you guys have a good idea of who's with me tonight. So we'll kind of kick it off with Cindy. Cindy from Northology, go ahead and sort of tell everybody about yourself.
Hi. Thank you very much for doing this, Jason, first and foremost, and thanks everybody for participating. Jason and I were just talking about how could we get you guys a little exposure and how can we help each other? I think that's what this group is kind of about. I live in Northern Illinois and I run a little outfit called Northology. We do, or I do, I don't know why I always say we, but I do outdoor adventure events and trips. And I do have a team that helps me with some of those things. So maybe that's why I say we. But basically, I run the Kevin-Rocktown Overland Adventure Retreat, and I also have some Northology trips that I have planned for. I launched my first schedule for trip this year, and I'll let you know later how that's going.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you, Cindy. So next we've got Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey guys, I know most of you guys, a couple of you I haven't met, but Jason, thanks for putting this thing together.
Sure.
And I am the owner, founder, what have you, of the More Expo. I think most have heard about it. The More Expo is just kind of it's an event that the Midwest didn't have before, which is strictly indoor trade show for the adventure travel community. We started planning it about 14 months before our first expo. It was successful. We had a great turnout. We had a lot of excellent vendors. And then now fast forward to what we've got coming in 2021. We've doubled the space for the More Expo. We've got over 100 spots for vendors or exhibitors to come in, and we're doubling our advertising. So kind of excited about putting all that stuff together to bring everybody together, try to help out all of the local businesses like, Chad, I know you're right down there in that neck of the woods.
Yep.
Springfield, Missouri is where it's at. But it's something that we as business people in the community didn't really have, and now we do. So that's kind of More Expo, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Thanks for that, Chris. Todd-TC Teardrops.
Yeah, so we just we've been in business for, my wife and I started it in 2008. So kind of when the economy took its crap then. So
Last time,
but
right?
we've just been kind of hanging in. We made our business more of a lifestyle for us, and then well, it's a business, but made it a lifestyle also. And always thought that I would. Back then in the days, everybody always said, "Hey, if you ever going to move out of your garage?" And I said, "Hell no! I mean, that's where you want to stay." So, but lo and behold, I ended up taking it out of the garage and growing the business and hiring lots of employees and buying nice equipment and stuff like that. So we're just kind of cruising along that way and enjoying it and really glad it's something we did back then. I wouldn't want to be somebody starting something up like this right this second. Going to expos and all that stuff. We've had our name out there for quite a while, so we'll just continue to do so, and everybody will get through this.
Awesome. Great. All right, Kevin. You ready?
Yeah. Hello, guys.
Go ahead. Tell us
Hey,
a little
Kevin.
bit about yourself.
Hey. Yes, I'm with Rocktown Adventures. We're especially outdoor retailers, so not really involved in the overlanding space per se, but recognize there's some similarities involved, and having a past relationship with Cindy. She thought it'd be a good idea for me to kind of get an idea of what's going on in overlanding. So I'm kind of involved from a business development perspective more than anything else. But obviously we're all involved in some semblance of adventure travel. So interested in hearing what other people are going through, what plans are, and never know what you can learn.
Very cool. All right, and then Ryan, are you at a spot where you can talk?
No. If you can hear me, give me a few minutes.
Yeah, I can hear you, but we can skip to Joe and then come back to you. I guess that's a yes.
That's a yes.
Joe, you want to go?
Yeah. Joe Crowley with Chi-Town 4x4. We're a Toyota off-road outfitter out of Chicago, Illinois. We started more peer pressure from my friends on a trip out in Moab in 2013. I was making parts out of my garage for the FJ Cruiser, and we had parts on a bunch of the trucks out there doing the Kokopelli Trail, and got done with that trip and had a wonderful time. We're sitting at the Moab Brewery, and they said, you should turn this into a business. I said, I already have another business. I need, is this what we want to do? And sure enough, later that year, we started it up, took part of the warehouse of our current business. And it wasn't until about 2017 when I hired Rick Vance, who is a certified Toyota tech, and brought him on to manage our business. And from there, it's taken off. So it's been a lot of fun. We're starting to do events in and around Chicago with, Toyota USA. And we've got, a Chi-Town Toyota Off-Road Club that's been featured in the Chicago Auto Show the last 2 years. And it's really put a lot of faces and, people in the club locally. So, we started mostly as a club and group of friends, and now it's turned into a whole culture in Chicago. So we're excited to keep it going.
Sweet. Very cool. Thank you. All right, Ryan, are you ready?
I think so. It took me a minute, but I'm here.
No, you're fine. All right, well, go ahead.
All right. So my wife and I own a company called CD Adventure Supply. We're based out of Fort Worth, Texas. Pretty much all things overland, camping, outdoor vehicle accessories, right? We really do put customer service at the top of our list. We're not your average shop. We won't just carry everything. We really fine tune the products that we carry, and we actually use them, like most people on this call. We actually use the products that we sell. We won't sell anything that we don't use ourselves. So it's a narrow product mix, but it's quality products that you can not normally get your hands on locally, right? We do have a website, but we prefer the in-person sales, right? Where we can show you, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can throw the fridge in the back of your vehicle and make sure it's going to fit where you think it's going to fit before making a purchase in, the hundreds of dollars, right? Who wants to order something off the internet and then find out that it doesn't fit where you thought it would? So,
Yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
For the record, I have returned 2 fridges so far, and I now have 0 fridges. So I'll tell you from experience, that's definitely true.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you. So then, Chad, last one.
I guess that leaves me.
That's you.
So yeah, I'm Chad Boyd from Overland Addict, and we have a store here in Nixa, Missouri. That's where I'm located. It's just right outside of Springfield, Missouri, about 7-8 miles. And it started as a YouTube channel. That's kind of the genesis of Overland Addict. I was just going out to the Ozark National Forest mostly, because that's in my opinion, the best national forest around where I live, and just going out and documenting my adventures and putting them on YouTube for other people to see and enjoy. And started getting a following, so started selling patches and stickers. First patches were of our logo, the Overland Addict logo, and then got into the National Forest patches. And it just kind of evolved from there. I've always loved gear. I'm kind of a gearhead. I love every kind of gear you can think of as far as overlanding goes. And so along the way, it just kind of grew into a gear company. So we started online about 8 months ago in June of 2019. Like I said, selling our patches and stickers, and then it moved to apparel, and then started slowly trickling in some gear. And around, I think it was not October or November, I just decided to just go all in and just actually evolve into primarily a gear shop for overlanding. So launched our retail store just right as this virus started. So good times. But so that's temporarily closed right now to the public, but we're still doing a lot of online orders, and we are doing some pickup orders here and there, but I'm very careful about how we do those. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Yeah, great. Thank you. I have one of your patches, so thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
So cool. So then let's kind of dive into it, and we'll just, again, I've kind of prepped you guys, but just for anybody listening, we're just going to kind of make it conversational, and just kind of dive into this whole, obviously everybody's talking about the whole COVID-19 thing, and, how it's affecting businesses, which was kind of how this whole call started. So Cindy kind of reached out to me, and again, we've talked on a number of occasions, and she was like, I know a number of business owners, and I know they'd love to just sort of talk about it, and some of the challenges that they're facing. And again, I wanted to kind of get them here too, so that everybody that I know, all my audience, can see kind of what they do, and get a chance to hopefully click on the links, which will be down in the description below the video. It'll be on the description of the podcast when I put that out. I'm hoping to get that out for you guys right now this Sunday. So in the next few days, it should be out. But so just kind of wanted to shine some light on these guys and the great work that they're doing, the great, care that they take of their customers, and hopefully, find you guys some new folks to engage with you during this, crisis, if you will, which everybody kind of jokes about it. I feel like there are a ton of memes floating around, but I mean, honestly, this thing is killing businesses. Like, I see people laying people off and all that sort of stuff. And there are some great businesses like yours that I think deserve as much attention as they can possibly get, so that we can, myself being an overlander, can support you guys and hopefully help you find some customers and some loyal folks to kind of, work with you guys during this time when things are a little tougher. So first kind of question that we were going to talk about was just how COVID-19 and the lockdown and all that is both maybe positively, maybe not so much, and also negatively impacting businesses. So to kind of start it off, maybe we talk about the negatives first. And I think, Cindy, you were going to go first on that.
Well, only because you make me go first, but that's okay.
Your idea,
Well, okay, I guess I can help that. Negatively, I mean, come on, man. You can't go to a physical store right now in a lot of places. People aren't shopping. They're hunkering down, and it's affected me personally with the event I'm hosting. One of my really favorite and I have an event. I teamed up with a local chef. He loves camping. He makes campfire fried chicken. It's amazing.
That sounds awesome.
So we teamed up. We're going to do like a gourmet overland trip where he was going to come. He was going to cook these really cool meals, cook for us, do demos. And there were no. Well, that's the thing. Right as I launched the event, and boom, there's a virus thing going on. I thought, how do I even
No, the
market
people
this
who
right
are-
now? Yeah, that's a possibility, but just gathering in groups right now, they say 10 or less members of your family. It's all kind of right now, I feel like I don't even, with the smaller events I'm doing, in the very near future, I'm unsure of what's going to happen. And I ended up canceling the May event just because, who knows if that stay in place order is going to be done with then.
Mhm.
So that's next.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Well, and it's interesting too. Somebody told me today, and I thought this was interesting, that like, even if it's lifted, it doesn't, you know how people are, right? Like everybody's a little different. So it's not like immediately the minute that it happens, everybody's going to run out and get in
Right.
groups and go to soccer games, right? So I think it's going to be a sort of a tiered recovery with like some people coming out and then more maybe a few months later and then more after that. And some may never quite come back from it. So it's a little scary. Ryan, you were down here next. And then anybody else that wants to jump in after that, just holler at me.
Yeah, so we're talking about the negative stuff first.
Yeah.
And I really think that, I spoke to this when I talked about who we are, right? Is that the big thing that we offer, right? We're not just another website, we're actual physical location that you can come to, you can touch and feel. We can't do that right now, right? We've had to close the doors, we're still answering phones and emails and walking through things with people, but we can't invite them in to talk about it and touch it and feel it. So that really is a huge impact to us, because the local market is where we have the best method to serve the customer. There's a ton of websites you can go buy products from, but here in our area, we're one of the only outdoor off-road overland shop around. So if you can't walk in our door, I can't service you, right, as to the best of my ability. So I think that that's really going to be where we're seeing the immediate effect right now. I think as people are losing jobs or being, furloughed or laid off, that affects, their purchases, and ultimately, doesn't, even if the doors were open, they wouldn't want to come in, because right now they've got their own problems. They've got challenges they're working through in their own households, like we are, because they don't have the work that they need to bring in the income. So it's going to be a challenge for a little bit. Even as you said, once we start to climb out of this, it's going to take a while for people to get back to work and get those jobs that they lost and all of that, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. I won't go too far. I wanted to take us off track, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be good. I'm going to stay on the questions. I think later on, so later on we'll talk about kind of what you're doing to overcome those challenges. So that's where I was going to go with it, but I'm not. I'm going to be good. Anybody else on any of the negative stuff that you want to chime in on here? I mean, I think we're all in kind of the same boat, but if you have something that you want to say, go ahead before I move on.
The negative side of it is I'm working too much right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
can't
to
really go outside, which sucks.
Yeah, we had to. I had to do the right thing and lay some people off, just to keep the social distancing between our shop and the people that I had to lay off. I know they may have not been responsible about staying home, stuff like that. They have kids that travel, like to go and do stuff. So I had to lay everybody off except for two key people that I know are going home. They're the breadwinners for their family. They're the ones that have to bring the money in. So what I had to make the hard choice was to lay everyone off except for two people. And then myself are there. So, but I mean, we're cleaning every night, bleaching everything, locked door policy. Nobody gets inside of our door right now. UPS, I mean, nobody comes inside of our door. So the hard part's just, trying not to work too much. I mean, I haven't had a day off now probably in 5 weeks. So I just got home a little bit ago before I got, fired this up. But that's the hard part.
Yeah, there are a lot of challenges right now. There's a friend of mine who manages hotels, and it's interesting because, you know, you would think there's essential staff there, right? But the way they actually did it was they reversed it and they said, all right, now you're cleaning the rooms and you're doing all that stuff and you have to let everyone else go. So a number of them had to go. So yeah, it's tough. That's tough.
Our part is we have the work. We just can't. I mean, we're booked out till October. So,
Jeez.
and we've talked to people in the next 2 to 3 months already, and they're all, there's no cancellations that way. We had 3 cancellations out of it, but on the other side of it, we've also sold 5 trailers this week.
Wow.
Nice.
With deposits. So that's the other side of it. So I think, you know, we'll see a turn in this in the overlanding side of it. Definitely.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything on negative? Because that kind of brings us into the positive side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Does anybody, the question is, does anybody have any positive sides to this?
Oh, yeah.
There are
do,
some
yeah.
positives, sure.
I do.
All right. Go ahead. Cindy, you want to go?
I'm going to go first. 'Cause,
Sure. Yeah. Go first.
I think that the people are going outside and they're rediscovering that they love to go outside and now they want to. There's going to be pent up demand once this lifts. And the first people that are going to go are the adventurers. Think about it, you know? It's going to be the adventure travel community that leads the tourism wave back. And I think the people that want to go paddling and mountain biking and go off in the woods and have fun off the grid are going to be the first people back. And so that's going to benefit us and the outdoor adventure community as a whole. So I'm confident in that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Chad, I think you were on there too. You have some stuff.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with Cindy on that point. You know, I'm seeing more people go outside. People that are, you know, social distancing and staying indoors. They're staying and doing more with their families, and actually they're actually getting outside the house. You know, staying away from other people, but going out into the woods and camping and doing those things with their family more. So it's kind of drawn people more closer to their family, I feel like. And, you know, I'll see posts on Instagram all the time, you know, with hashtag social distancing, but people are out camping and doing things like that. So, you know, that's the good thing is it's not keeping people from going out and still enjoying the outdoors. They have to be more careful, obviously, you know, not to be around other people, but people I think are getting to the point to where, you know, we're in the US, we're not that far into this just yet, but people are already kind of getting cabin fever and they're like, I got to get out of my house. So they're getting out and doing things. So that's definitely one positive thing. Another thing is actually online sales have been picking up for us during all this, especially certain products. So like example for Wavian fuel cans, you know, we would sell one every once in a while, but when this first hit the US, we sold out of every Wavian fuel can we had because people were, I think, kind of like toilet paper. They were scared gas was going to be super scarce.
Yeah.
And so we sold out of every one of the Wavian fuel cans we had. And I called our supplier and I was like, hey, I need more of these because I'm out. And people still want them. And she was like, well, we have another container inbound right now, but every one on the container is already spoken for. And so you won't be able to get in until May. So, you know, things like that, certain products, it's been good for people buying them.
Everybody should start selling toilet paper. Problem solved.
Right.
All right, so Ryan, I think you were on here next.
Yeah, Overland toilet paper, right?
Oh, there you go.
It's pre-branded.
Yeah. So the positives I see here, and you know, some people have already kind of touched on this, that you know, it's forcing people to spend some time with their family and actually get outside. I think they're spending so much time on their devices and watching TV that they're burning out on that, and it's forcing them to set the phone down or set the iPad down and go in the backyard, watch the dog run around, you know, go for a walk through the park. And I think it's pushing people out to kind of like, oh wow, you know, this is what I've been missing. And I see that could be beneficial for all of us, that once the restrictions start to taper off and people are allowed to move about freely a little more than they already are, that they're gonna want to get out and do some more exploring, whatever that is. If it's a day trip from the house, or, you know, if it's running to the state park or going to a national park, you know, it's gonna, because people aren't gonna want to travel far at first, right? Especially internationally, that they're gonna want to stay local. And I think that's where we can help them be able to get to where they need to with the gear they need to do that in a safe manner. And I think that's the upside to this, is I think it's gonna, a lot of more local vacationing, and people aren't going to want to go that far from their house. And I think that's really going to be a upside for all of us, and for them too, because I think it's pushing them outside their comfort zone of what they knew, and they're going to be looking for new ways to explore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Cindy, I might have good news for you, because so the plane tickets for our trip in September that was going to keep me from coming to KOAR weren't available yet. We hadn't actually purchased them. So, and now we may not be going, right? Like, I mean, September is not that far away to where we may not want to go out of country. So I might be able to come to KOAR. I don't know.
That's one of the big positives
Yeah,
for people are overlooking right now, is the fact that people might be afraid to get on a plane. So they're going to be driving. They're going to be taking different types of adventures instead of taking that, you know, family trip that's on a plane. It's going to be more vehicular. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like too, like people like me that maybe I don't have a store per se, but like I have more time on my hands now. So like, just like this call, right? Like I want to make more content. I love overlanding. I love, you know, adventure travel and things like that. So like I'm making more videos personally, and I feel like I see more and more of that. And I feel like people are consuming more of it. Like you guys kind of brought up, right? Like people can't go out. So I live vicariously by watching like Chad's videos of the last trip he took, right? Like I go and I watch those things, and then I'm like, man, I need to go check out his shop because I really want one of those fuel cans, or I really want a fridge, you know? So I'm hoping that it creates some more demand. And then, yeah, like once everything frees up, then there'll be even more people purchasing and getting into it, overlanding and travel in general, adventuring. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Anybody else on positive stuff before we move on?
And for me, I just think that people are going to change their way of travel. So we're all going to see a benefit from it on our side of it, just because they are going to want to travel by car, whether it is across the states, because people are still going to want to travel across the United States. I think they're just going to want to kind of chill out, throw a tent or trailer or whatever they're going to do, and go. But they're not going to want the airplane. They're not going to definitely cruise ship. Stuff like that. I mean, that's gonna be that's the businesses that are going to be hurting. I think people are, you know, and a lot of these people are in their 50s. They're our age. I don't know how old everybody is, but you know, the 40s, 50s, 60s. They're going to reconnect with their youth of their families taking them camping when they were kids, because that's what most of them did. So.
Good point. You can't take your toilet paper stash with you on an airplane either.
It's true.
You can put it in a trailer.
You can put it in a trailer, yeah.
Big Plano crates full of it.
So one of the other plus sides I see to this that I hadn't really touched on was that I think everybody, the current people that adventure like we like to do now, they're taking this time to plan. Right? They're thinking of the next big trip that they can do. Once, you know, they're looking for the gates to open so they can go running across the country and go to Moab or wherever it is that they long to go, right? And so, you know, for us, you know, they may not have the ability to buy the gear right now. They're at least planning it. They're thinking, what, you know, I need to get this and this done before I head out to the Ozark National Forest for that trip that I want to do in October. So I think that there are some good things for people that are currently already doing overlanding, adventuring, whatever you want to call it. It giving them an opportunity to sit down and not have the phone ringing off the hook from work, and actually sit down and plan out that route to Gaia or whatever they use. And that's going to be a huge thing for us, I think, because they're going to be ready to go the minute the travel restrictions are lifted.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that kind of jog my memory. People saying, I'm stuck at home, I can't go anywhere, so I'm going to do these couple of projects I've had on my list because I haven't had time normally because I'm usually going out and adventuring and traveling and doing that kind of thing. So people are kind of getting more projects done on their rigs or maintenance work done on, on their rig or something like that. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yep. Awesome. All right, we good on that one?
If you're good.
Lots of positives. Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, lots more positives than negatives.
It sounds funny that the stay-at-home side of it for us has been that people have the time to drop off a truck. So instead of like rushing and they're only picking, maybe they've got a planned build that might be 3 days of labor. They'd always before maybe chop it up and say, I'm going to do part of it this time, part of it that time. Well, now they're actually taking the time. Like, I'm stuck at home, I can't go anywhere. Here's my truck. Can I? I'll take it in 7 days from now. So we're having drop-offs happen overnight, and the call said, yeah, just get to it when you can get to it. My wife and I are sharing a car. I don't have to commute every day. That side of it's opened up some of the bigger builds, and I know this coming week we've got some bigger stuff coming up. I'm like, that's what we've been missing right now is some of the big type of builds that come in for having time for it.
That's cool. Very cool. Cool. Yeah, I know my truck's battery is dead right now because it's been sitting for so long. I went out to move it. And I was like, dang, I had to jump the damn thing.
You need some solar panels? I can hook you up with that.
I have solar panels, but they're hooked up to an auxiliary battery. I know. I need a deep cycle, and then I'd probably be better. But I will hit you up. Okay, cool. So next question. What types of businesses are most or least affected and why? Chad, I think we had you down here first.
Yeah, I got a couple examples for each one of those. I actually have another business that I run too. I've had that one for 8 years, and it's a software business. It's a donation platform for churches and nonprofits. So, and it's focused on text giving. So text donations, you text your tithe to your church or text a donation to your favorite nonprofit. So our business has actually picked up a lot since this all hit because churches particularly are shutting down because they can't allow a lot of people in one place to congregate at the church. So they're scrambling to try to figure out if they didn't have anything in place, a way to continue to get the tithes into the church when people are staying home and watching church online or whatever. So our business has really grown this last month over that. So any business like that, I think, where you provide a way for people to connect to your business remotely. I think those are benefiting right now for sure. As far as the ones that are most affected by this, negatively, I guess I should say, are any businesses that are rely on in person, like Ryan was saying earlier. He deals a lot with in person, customers coming into the shop and things like that, as well as our overlanding business too. So those are suffering. I have another friend that's runs a software company, and it's a software service for the maid industry. So like people that run maid agencies and maid companies that go and clean houses. And his business has actually gone down quite a bit because a lot of the smaller maid shops are closing down because they're having to lay off a lot of people. So, that's an example of even though it's software, it's still being affected negatively.
Yeah, makes sense. Very cool. Cindy?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Your name's on there. I don't know.
Now, event
No pressure.
group gatherings. People are unsure about buying a ticket for an event right now that they think are not sure would be postponed or canceled. And the timing of all this is a little tenuous. I'm hoping, by summer it all calms down and everything's cool. I go between like everything's going to be okay and oh my God, I better retreat up to the woods. But I'm just trying to just keep an even keel on that. But it's hurting right now because people just don't know what's going to happen, when it's going to end, if the shutdowns or the restrictions will be lifted. And they're a little shy to make commitments monetarily. I mean, we have a pretty generous refund policy on that. 30 days before the event, you can get a refund. But I think people are just sitting tight right now because of the uncertainty. So.
Makes sense. And then Ryan, you might have touched on your
So,
stuff already.
yeah, I might have touched on it a little bit, but honestly, I feel like it's the small businesses that I think are impacted the most here, right? Whether it be retail or food service, you know, around here, a lot of the restaurants have had to go to takeout or drive-through only, and if they're not really set up to handle that, they're having to close their doors. And then, you know, you look at knick-knack retail shops that are independently owned. I think the medium to larger size businesses are going to fare better than the small businesses are. And unfortunately, I think, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on with the SBA right now, and hopefully they've got a good, smooth process for that, because I think that's what's going to help those small businesses make it through
Yep.
this to the other side. Because without it, this is going to impact them probably the most, unfortunately.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that kind of takes us into the next question, which is what are you going to do to, you know, kind of overcome it in the short term? And I will say, as a consumer, right, like the things that I've seen, and most of mine, to be honest, are coming from like breweries and things like that locally, but those small independently owned breweries, right, like the way that they have dealt with this has been really impressive to me. And so like I'm in marketing, like that's kind of what I do, which I guess makes sense because I do social media and YouTube and stuff like that. But what I've seen that's been really interesting and I think could help a lot of small businesses is like I've seen a ton of them respond in just like a really genuine and transparent way, right? Like saying, hey, here's what we're trying to do to help our employees. You know, there's one brewery here locally that basically said, look, we're donating 10% of everything that we make on pickup orders or, you know, online orders or things like that to a relief fund for our employees. And that kind of stuff resonated with me because I got, you know, 50 messages about the COVID. We all did, right? We all just email. Here's what we're doing to, you know, quarantine ourselves and take care of stuff. But when I got those from those little small mom and pop places, I was just really impressed with the way they were handling it. And I have gone and like picked up a growler at a couple places and like tried to, you know, buy gift cards and things like that from them because of the way that they're handling it. Just like you're great with your customers, right? Like you're so personable and you try to take care of them. I'd much rather support you than like a Walmart or an Amazon, right? Like I don't care about them. I mean, you've seen the things that Amazon is doing, like they're asking for donations for their employees. And it's like, wow, that's really tone deaf, you know, but have you not seen that, Cindy? On Amazon's website, there's like spots everywhere where you can donate for their employees, which is hysterical.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, totally legit. If you Google it, you'll see it. But these little shops like you guys, right? Like that's part of why I wanted to do this too, is because like you guys deserve it, right? And so I think people will see that. I think if you're, you know, honest and transparent, that people will see it and hopefully then support you through this. And then, like you said, we'll kind of come out of it on the other side, hopefully stronger, with people sort of pushing to get out and buy gear and go on trips. So, but you guys tell me, like, what are you guys doing to try and combat this in the short term? What are you doing to kind of pitch it?
So I guess on our side, on TC Teardrop side of it, we're just trying to keep the customer builds going so we keep the money coming in. We've been listening to all of the manufacturing and commerce stuff that we're involved doing in the Wassa Chamber, all that stuff we're involved in that. And we see the stimulus packages coming out. There's stipulations with them that you'll have to be careful with as a small business. We're fortunate that we feel right now, we've talked to our banker already, that we're going to leave them alone. Because to take another loan out in your business isn't a good idea. Not unless you absolutely have to. So you're going to see this, but what we're going to see on the backside of this is we don't know when this is going to end.
Yeah.
If we don't need the money right now, we don't want to take the money now, because something can happen here. And, you know, we're talking October, November, December of this year. This could come back. It could do a backlash where we are going to need money. And hopefully the government's doing something then. That's when we want to be able to go into that. For right now, we feel comfortable just kind of hanging out where we're at. Just slow the business down a little bit. Enough money's coming in, pay the bills, pay everyone. So, but just kind of stay up on top of all your stuff, whether you're a small business just starting up or whatever you need to do, and if you need to take a hold, use some of the stimulus package, use it. Because, I mean, you've put money into it all your life. I mean, that's what we pay taxes for. We feel that on our side of it, we don't want to take any now because that might take away from somebody else that does need it right this second.
It's like toilet paper.
Yeah, I mean,
Same
but
idea,
you're right. I mean, I'm at the mom and pop shop. Last week at the motorcycle shop is my mom and pop shop that I like my motorcycle, so I feel I've got a little extra time. Thought I'd have a little extra time. I don't, but I'll get all the bikes serviced up and ready to roll. So when we do get to head west, we'll be ready. But I think we aren't going to see the end of this right away. And you're right, social distancing, it's going to kind of slowly come back. But I think people will help support good companies throughout this, and just keep on moving. And Cindy, I'm not canceling.
You better not.
Ryan, I think you wanted to say something.
You didn't.
Oh, go ahead, Cindy. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, Todd, you didn't read that line that says vendor fees are non-refundable?
So far Canoecopia is not refundable. That's a really big one for us.
What a disaster.
What's that?
That was a disaster. I was actually
in the building. I waited as long as I could to go, and I pulled in the building, unhooked, and I was like, yeah, something's going on here. So yeah, but you don't get your money back. I mean, the Overland Expo West, I mean, and we're doing Northwest Overland Rally, all that stuff. It's not refundable, but it's part of doing business too. And we've been doing this for a long time. This is the first time this has happened, and we've made money out of this.
I'm not canceling either.
So you better not cancel me. I'm showing up. I'll tell you what, Cindy, I'm showing up no matter what.
Yeah, we're using the campground regardless.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too. Yep.
Stay 6 feet apart. You'll be fine.
Yep.
That's easy to do when you're camping.
Yeah. Right? Ryan, did you want to say something on this?
What were we on again? Sorry, I've been listening to the conversation. I lost track of where we were
No,
at.
you're fine. Things that you're doing to kind of, short term anyways, shore up the business and sort of get money in the door.
I mean, really, we're just being honest with our customers and communicating that we're still here, that we can guide them through the process, whether it's email or phone, and that we are still shipping. We haven't really ever done gift cards before. We've turned that on our website, and kind of let people know that, hey, if you've got some extra money in your pocket and you want to save it away for gear that we have, go ahead and pick up a gift card. It helps us, it helps you. Little things like that. I think just being transparent, we've got some vendors that we work with, like Goose Gear, that had to close shop. They had to shut down. And so we've been spending a lot of time on the phone with the customers, working through what that means and what it's going to look like and how we can get through this together with them. And so far, everybody's been really understanding about any product that we have where the manufacturer stopped shipping right now.
That's great. Anybody else want to say anything on things you're doing for your business to kind of survive this short term?
But I do get a quick thing. I got an email from a customer. Talks about how good customers really are and how they do understand this whole thing. We got an email from a customer that understood that we had to. I put it on our owner's page, and that I had to lay some people off. And he actually, he warranted a call. I didn't email him back. I gave him a call because it kind of brought tears to your eyes. He wanted to fund any wages that they were losing. Make sure us as a company were okay. That he would put money into our business without a repayment plan.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how customers can be. We denied all that. I mean, we said we really appreciate it, we know that the people are off that can be off, and us as a business, we're fine. But man, I'll tell you what, a customer like that to call you and with deep pockets and say, we will fund you. That's, and he said, even in the future, he said, you ever need anything, you just call me. And this is a customer that wasn't the easiest to deal with at the start, you know? So that's the hard part, you know? And then when they got the trailer and stuff, it was just, they were so nice and stuff. We just love them. And then for this to happen, you know, 2 months later, it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Very cool. Anybody else?
Cheers to you, Todd.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
actually,
Great
there's a few things that I've been doing just because, you know, back in October, my husband says, oh, go ahead and quit your day job and, you know, do this full-time event stuff. And that kind of been a little strange lately, but I've been helping some people with graphic design. If anybody needs any help, I can do some basic services. I'm thinking about starting up, or actually I've been working on a digital magazine to share stories and advertise for businesses in the Overland community and content for that. And a really cool program in our town, the local graphic design t-shirt maker, they did this program where you send them your logo, they're gonna print t-shirts, they share it all over. Over 200 businesses signed up. They've raised over $22,000. And we were part of that. So I'm very lucky that, you know, some of those things are panning out for me, just diversifying and getting other smaller income streams coming in.
Very cool. Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, Cindy, Cindy, make sure you message me. I have something I'd like to discuss with you, something that just stopped, an online magazine that just stopped. And we're not sure why, but it's not because of the financial side. So I'd like to talk to you about that. I think it's something right up your alley.
Oh, sure.
So we'll talk about that later.
Cool. Even everybody hanging.
Good timing.
It's the call's a success already. We can just shut it down.
Just don't say anything about it, Todd.
I got a question for Chris. You guys knocked off that More Expo. It sounded like it went off well. It fell at a time that we couldn't join you guys down there. We wanted to be a vendor, but it fell at the same time we have our Chicago Auto Show thing that came up. And I'm curious, what's your thoughts on how the COVID thing, seeing that everyone says next winter it might be back, what kind of precautions are you going to take to try to kick off another great event?
Great question. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of faith and rolling with the punches with this kind of stuff. You know, I'm going to go ahead and plan to continue and just push through as we did last year. We've already sold about 60% of the booth space or floor space in the show. And we now have a name with the expo. So our advertising dollars are going to go a lot farther. So kind of the plan is here before too long is just really ramp up advertising, carpet bomb. Some people will be a little apprehensive probably in February about going to an expo. There could be a vaccine by then. There's a million things, you know, we've already discussed, you know, we're going to have 1 million hand sanitizer stations and all that kind of stuff out there anyways. But we're going to roll with the punches and keep on playing it. We're definitely making sure that we are paid up on our cancellation insurance premiums and all that stuff. That's a big deal. The consumer show industry got sledgehammered.
Just wrecked.
This is show time. It's primetime showtime. RV shows, boat shows, Canoeacopia, that kind of stuff. And there's a ton of outdoor shows. There's another one at the fairgrounds right where I have mine, and they they had all vendors in, and they were all set up and ready to go. And the city showed up that Saturday morning, and they put chains on the doors with vendors set up in their booths. So vendors tear down and leave, kind of head down, which is really a negative thing. I'm confident, and I'm going to stay positive in the whole thing. I think that for the vendors that are in with us, the amount of advertising that we're going to do between now and February, we've got plenty of time, is really going to be beneficial. It's going to give somebody, it gives you some hope to look forward to. Fortunately for us, we're just a little bit less than a year out, which is pretty far away. I'm so sorry for people like Cindy that have had to cancel events. You, on any scale, if you have to cancel anything, that hits home, and you feel that, because when you put on one of these events, and Cindy, it comes from the heart. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, and you plan and you organize and you fight like hell to keep it going. And I'm sorry that you had to cancel that event, and so many others. We nearly escaped it, man. If we'd have been 3 weeks later,
Yeah.
it would have been devastating. And at that point, I'd be one, pulling for an SBA loan and trying to get as much money recovered. These things cost so much money to put on. The fairgrounds wouldn't give me a deposit. Yeah, they're not going to give me the deposit back. All the advertising is paid for, television commercials, you name it. Thousands of dollars in print, Facebook ads, all just to shut it down or even postpone. Postponing hurts too. So it's a sensitive industry. I guess, to answer your question the best, Joe, what am I planning on doing or changing? I'm going to advertise like every day is a day of the trade show for my vendors that have already paid to be in with us. We're gonna put out in front of our audience, which is growing every day, your guys' faces or any of our exhibitors' faces, and we're gonna roll through and try to create a positive attitude where people are gonna have something to look forward to, and when it comes around, it's gonna be a celebration and a victory over all of this. And then we're all going to go out and have a beer.
Yes. Now you're talking.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, I have to add to that. The thing that's so exciting about what you said is that there are people, and even Todd kind of with his customer, I've had people ask me, send me message, how can I support KOAR? How can I support your business? And I think that people care about these events just because they're so close to their heart, and this community, like even just things we're doing here right here today, making these connections, and we're all on the same page, and it means something to us more than just the dollars. It is our heart and our blood and our sweat and our tears. And I know that there are people supporting you and supporting me and everybody here, that if there's something that we can do to help, we want to make these things happen, because it's so awesome to watch the rig roll into KOAR. It's just the awesomest thing. Somebody drives with a teardrop behind their Jeep with kayaks and canoes and mountain bikes and smiles. And it's more than just a ticket that I paid to go hang out for the weekend. It's a family reunion. And that's the thing that makes me hopeful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's exactly it. Chris, you've got, I want to tell Joe that, yeah, it was definitely worth, we're going back to more next year. It's definitely worth the trip down there. The only expo we've got to do this whole year. So, but there's different things. Expos, you guys have to look at it's going to be impacting on your side, I see. But like Cornucopia, insurance didn't cover viruses. So, everybody that did put money into that show, like us, you don't get that money back. We're lucky that Overland Expo West is rescheduled. That's kind of nice for us.
Yeah.
We'll probably stay out of the Northwest Overland this year. We're signed up, but we'll let them keep our, it's a small fee to go to that one. We'll let them keep that just for that and still donate a fireplace prize, if they have. But the expos are different than what you think too. What I see going to expos, because we do about 10 a year. We do East, West, Northwest Overland rallies. We do all these. And so what we see is it's not just about going to an expo and checking out all the brand new gear. It's about going to the expo and it's the only time you get to see your friends that you've met on Facebook. I hung out with, I did a little expedition last year on our way to Expo West with Off-Grid Teardrops and some other folks. And we had, I think, a total of like 12 or 14 of us. I set up a whole thing to the San Rafael Swells all the way down. We spent 5 days together. It's a friendship. It's about getting to see each other. And when you looked at it, and it's just kind of like here too. I mean, when we're all sitting around the campfire and having a beer and stuff, you sit down and realize, we all met off Facebook. Really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's how we see, Facebook or Instagram or something. For us, it seems to be more Facebook stuff. But I wouldn't have met any of you guys without the social media. So I think we're all gonna have to rely on social media right now. Definitely check your insurance plans, for expo people like Cindy and Chris and stuff, because I think people are going to be a little shy going into this for next year. So you just got to say, hey, this is going to be our policy for cancellation fee. If you have no policy for cancellation fee, just put it out there. I mean, just so everybody knows. So there's no like hidden stuff. And I think people understand that too.
Yeah, the thing about that virus not being covered is if it's a new, so the deal is like anybody that bought insurance before the virus was named,
yeah,
would have been covered on that. So,
so
yeah, so and you can buy cancellation insurance up till until they start seeing winter events, just so that way they know the snow won't cancel it. But had that hit us 3 weeks later for the Moore Expo, so had the Moore Expo been in the beginning of March, we would have been covered on that one because we bought the insurance policy before the virus was actually named.
well, that's good to know.
Unfortunately, that was for the 2020 Expo. I have to buy a new policy for the 2021 Expo, and now it's named. So, I mean, that is what it is. I've got a guy that's kind of been my mentor in this, and he's been doing boat sport and travel shows for the past 30 years. And, I'm calling him constantly because he's been around. He's seen a lot of stuff. Not maybe this particularly, but he just keeps saying the show business, baby. The show must go on. That's how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, Cindy and Todd, I had a question for you guys, and I guess it falls, also for Chris. But do you think back on the fact that we were working trade shows that end of February, middle February, when this really was probably something that was here, present, and we just hadn't named it yet? It hadn't become what it was. And did either one of you get sick after working that week?
I did not get
Nope.
sick, but I did have a cold after that, I guess. So I wasn't sick, but yeah. But I've had colds since then, but I haven't gotten sick like I have previous year at this time of year, where it seems like I got the flu. But this is the first year I got the flu shot. So You know, it's really,
Yeah.
you know, for me,
I don't know. It's weird to say that, Joe, because at the auto show, we were exposed to people from all over the world.
That's what I was saying. I mean, it's more of more of a global show. So when you sit in an area like that and you've got people and you hear the languages of different people and what they're speaking, you're like, well, these people are coming from all over. And I don't know if, you know, Chris, if it was more of a local feel. I don't know where you're traveling or where people really came in from, if you graph that at all, but that has an impact on how that whole thing feels.
Yeah, we saw mainly, well, let's see, we saw a total of 24 states that I was able to get data on. But it's funny, I'm looking at my map right now. We did a little push pin deal, you know, at the gate to kind of say, you know, hey, where you're from and all that stuff. And it's concentrated Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, a little bit of Illinois in there, but that was where the concentration was. You know, I don't know. That's the big question is, hey, that flu that you had this year, what do you think it actually was?
Well, yeah, I walked away from the auto show and I was almost on my deathbed for 4 days.
Oh no way!
See,
and that was wondering, like, what was that? I mean, I was down for the count. I'm never down for the count.
See.
Corona.
Could have been. Yeah.
Did I get it? And Rick had it too. Rick had something right after.
No, I didn't go. I wasn't that bad, that's for sure.
Good.
But I wasn't there as long as you guys. I was only there for that day and a half there.
Yeah. No, Cindy and I had some real hours.
And I was not there. Yeah, I was not there while you were there, though.
No, funny enough, you and I were like
at the same
ships
time.
passing in the night.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, man, one more time. That was awesome, and it was so much fun, and thanks again, Joe.
Oh yeah, it was. Especially being able to go to the auto show, the Chicago Auto Show, and get there before anybody is there. So my kid and I were walking around. I think they opened it up at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, and customers didn't get there till what?
10.
9 or 10? 10?
Yeah.
So we had 2 hours of empty space. Got to see the whole place. And we're like, this is incredible. And then we're coming out. We're back by we're headed back to your booth, but we're up by a Toyota. So we're up by the front where everybody's standing.
Yeah.
And we see this freaking wave of people coming. And we're like, what the hell's going on? I mean, they're actually running. And we're like, what the hell? And we kind of booked it back into your spot. I mean, they were going to trample each other.
Oh, yeah.
They were going to the Jeep thing.
Mm-hmm.
They all wanted to be first in line for the Jeep thing. So we grabbed a beer, and pretty early, we grabbed a beer and went up and set up on top of that balcony.
Yeah.
And watched the line grow and grow and grow to like an hour and a half or 2 hour line wait to watch for somebody to go drive through this Jeep thing. And we're like, whoa.
Wow.
Did you guys hear the Jeep video story that came out of that whole thing?
Oh yeah, the broke down one.
The one that got high centered on warm up.
What really happened?
Well, I was being in early. I was able to go take my kids on family day to go through that course with them because they were all jazzed to go off roading indoors. They were all excited. Yeah. So we're first in row, and the truck that was going to go pick us up they had just watered the course down. So it's the truck going up this little crossover thing. The gladiators are so long, it slipped a little in high centered, which no big deal. So I pull out my phone, record it, think nothing really of it other than Jeep gets stuck on its own test course, right?
Yeah.
I post it to the web. I go to bed that night. I wake up the next day. It's got 500,000 views.
Oh, yeah, that's viral.
I got a phone call from the director of the auto show asking kindly that that be removed from the web.
Wow.
Oh, it's still out there.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is, but it's not on my page anymore.
Yeah.
So, so we looked at it, was like, well, we're a Toyota shop. Jeep gets stuck. This is as viral as it gets. And then, we have to go and take it down because we're nice guys like that. We're not going to be the people.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
That's funny. Yeah, I saw that video.
I did too.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing exciting about it. I mean, you were talking about, you probably could have taken two guys and pushed it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is funny. Very cool. All right. So just a couple more questions left here, and I don't want to keep you guys all night, but changes that you guys are making now, do you see any of those potentially continuing past this? So again, we've kind of talked about how it's not going to just be like there's a date and then we all go back to normal, right? But are there any changes that you're making to your business, whether it's, just being smarter with your cash flow or anything that you guys are doing right now that will continue, past this thing?
Yeah. And with us, we actually were lucky a year ago at Overland Expo West, not this past one, but the year before, when Moby One went out of business and Inca Trailers both kind of filed bankruptcy at the same time. Carol and I, at that point, which reflects us now, at that point we went out of our deposits down to only a $500 fully refundable deposit. I don't care if you build a $20,000 trailer, we'll give you your deposit back, even after I built your trailer. So we've stuck to that. We didn't see that financially, we didn't see the impact on that, what it would do to us through that 2019 year. It was a big impact for us. But we're glad that we did it then, and it's helped us to get through this now. But going forward, we're glad we did it then. If we could have done it, to do it now, it would have been tough. I would say as far as moving forward, just be really smart with your cash flow right now. Hang on to your money. This will pass. It's like everything else. We started our business in 2008. So anybody, you guys starting out now, we started in 2008 in the worst economy. And we felt if we could do it then, and we started on a tax refund of $3,000 is what we started our business on. So we figured if we could do it then, we'll get through this now. So some good advice for you guys that are doing it now or just starting out now. Hang in there. If you can make it through, you'll be stronger on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So
that's great. I'm curious too if any of you are like, and this is kind of a way out there idea, but I know I'm on a board of directors for a local marketing thing here, and I work for like a marketing tech SaaS type company. But like a lot of us have been going to, so like we put on events for the board that I'm on. That's our whole thing. We have monthly agile marketing events, and people come to them obviously in person to see a speaker, right? So we've had to kind of make the move to more like, we can still present that same content, but we can do it digitally and we can gate it and then charge people to view it online. So I'm kind of curious, like worst case, like Cindy, with your chef person, could you do like some digital content or something like an online, like a Zoom class or something like there's gotta be a way. And there are people like me and other overlanders and off-roaders and people that are, enthused about it to consume that content online that would probably pay, they may not pay, $200 or $300 like they might for a ticket to a weekend long expo, but they might pay like $20 to $50 to like watch a thing on winching or, cooking in the wild or whatever. I'm curious if any of you have like explored any of that or thought about that or any sort of digitalization of your content. Like your magazine, right? Cindy?
Yeah.
It's kind of a version of it.
If only people would pay to watch me eat around a campfire. I
Yeah,
could
there
make
you
a lot of money. That's a great idea.
Buy a case of beer.
Right. Yeah, I'm exploring a few things, and I'm really excited about the magazine. If anybody wants to jump on that, send me an email or a message afterwards, because that's going to be
Where to
fun.
find this?
That could be part of it too. Yeah, I know where you are. So cool. Yeah. It's just getting creative, and sticking with what's been working and exploring things that like that, new ways to connect with people.
Yeah.
And offer value for that.
Yeah. And Todd, you kind of mentioned it earlier too, like social media obviously is a way to further deepen your relationships with your customers and sort of make sure that they know that you're still here and you guys are there to take care of them. So that's a good option too. Cool. Chris, did you wanted to talk about something, I think? For this?
I always want to talk about something. I can't remember. What's the topic that we're on?
No, you're fine. The changes that you're making now that will continue after this whole thing blows over.
Yeah, no, so I like that. I think that, as a person that brings 3,000 to 5,000 people into one building all at one time, I have some responsibilities to the community, and it's not something that honestly I had considered for the first show. But I mean, every single one of these people that come in is I'm not even going to call them customers. They're supporters of me, supporters of you. Anybody that was there saw that. We need to do our part to keep them safe. So I've actually kind of been looking at a few different things, whether this is still going on or not, it still needs to be done. We need to have more sanitary stations where people can, even if I get 50 hand sanitizer stations, but a lot of effort in communicating with the exhibitors that are going to be down there, like, hey, keep in mind it's flu season, so stop coughing on people that are coming in. Gad. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is, but I just know that there needs to be some precautions taken, and I'll probably take a page from some of the big shows. I'm a member of the NACS, the North American Consumer Show. Yeah, I think that's it. North American Consumer Show. It's just an organization, but these guys do big shows, and they really have their stuff together. So I learn a lot of stuff from them, and I think we'll learn some good hygiene and stuff like that from those guys. The other thing that we want to do is, like I had mentioned before, is some more creative ways of advertising throughout the year. Anything that we can do to help you guys stay in business, stay rolling, that's what makes my business work. I need you guys. Nobody wants to come and see an empty hall. And on the other hand, no exhibitors want to come and exhibit to an empty room either. But from a show standpoint, we want to do more face-to-face interviews, something similar to this. Is it possible to record the video on these and then save it and repost it later?
Yep.
Okay. That stuff like this, like Zoom meetings, just where it's, maybe Ryan and I sitting chatting about, hey, what do you expect your booth to look like, or what kind of products you got in. Just I'm no interviewer or podcaster or anything like that, but we can struggle through it, and just maybe throw one of those up a week or something like that. I think that'll really help a lot of people out. So we're taking ideas around now, seeing how long this thing's going to last, and seeing what we can do for everybody in the meantime.
Awesome. I'll let you guys in on a secret. I am not a podcaster or an interviewer either, really. Just a guy. You'll
those
see
official
that.
Titles, right?
Yeah.
You just stated a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah, I did. Actually, I didn't because they're closed, but yeah. No, I think that's a great idea. And I will say from my experience, so and again, I'm not any sort of professional podcaster or anything. I do a podcast and people listen to it. I don't know why, but they do. But I have had, a good example is like Chad, for example. So I randomly stumbled upon Overland Addict online. Never met Chad. Still haven't met Chad. Would like to someday. Hopefully rendezvous in the Ozarks this year. I can get down there if it's happening, and we can go camping for a night or two before that. but like just having seen him online and making that connection was important. And at first I was kind of tentative because I'm like, this guy's the competition, right? Like he's got all these subscribers and he's so big and his videos are so polished and like he's very talented. And I'm not just trying to flatter him. Like I kind of look at all people like that way.
I'm blushing.
Yeah. All right, good. But honestly, so like at first I kind of pulled back and I didn't want to like, I was like, oh, I can't watch his video because then I'm giving him views, right? Like I'm competing with myself by watching his videos. And there was like a good like 2 to 4 weeks where I was really like that. And I'm like, okay, that video looks really cool, but I can't watch it. And I tell you what, as soon as that was completely wrong, like as soon as I stopped doing that and I started like talking to you guys and talking to Cindy and like working with Chad and like trying to support each other and bring each other up, it doesn't have to be professional grade at all, right? But as soon as I share this out, now I'm not gonna, I have 1,200 subscribers I think on YouTube now, and the podcast is actually surprisingly big. Like I think I just passed 27,000 listens on that. I started it 8 months ago. So It's going pretty well. But like, I'm not promising you guys that I'm going to get you to a 50,000 person audience per se, but even if like 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 learn about you and then maybe become a loyal customer, like we all grow together. Right.
I used to kind of have that very similar like scarcity mindset and attitude. And I realized along the way that whether it's YouTube channel, social media, even our businesses that we all run, there is enough to go around for everybody and then some. Like there just is. So yeah, I kind of was that way in the beginning too.
Yeah. But so yeah, definitely do that, Chris. Like definitely, just shoot a phone video. Like I shoot my stuff on my phone, honestly. Yeah. I don't even have a DSLR or anything. I have a little $500 drone and a phone. That's what I have. But you just do it. You put it out there and people like it.
Chad's right though. Both of you guys are right. Is that don't make enemies with your peers. I mean, I go to the expos, and I'm friends with all the guys that own Teardrop campers. When we started doing expos, I don't know, 10 years ago, but we started doing Overland Expo West and East about 8 years ago. You went in there as this little guy and you're thinking you don't want to talk to anybody and stuff like that. Well, I'm friends with Off-Grid Teardrops and Hiker and all these guys I'm friends with. There's no sense of being enemies because there's enough to go around for everybody.
Yeah. And we all put our individual little twist on what we do anyway. Yep. I mean, whether you realize it or not, you do.
Yep, you're very correct on that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something I learned pretty early on when we started, that there's others, Adventure Up Overland in Houston is one that's closest to me. We're both 23-0 dealers, and I had a customer call from his territory. So I did the right thing. I called him, said, do you have the product this guy's looking for? And he's kind of like, well, yeah, why? And I was like, well, I'm going to have the best thing for the customers for you to facilitate the sale. That was the right thing to do. And it paid off in the long run. Dave and I are really good friends. We share business back and forth. We're so close. And the same thing goes with Aaron, with Artemis Overland. Him and I, because we're the same, we share a lot of the same brands, we help each other out. We work together because it's the right thing to do for the customer. And if, to everybody's point in this, is that, we're such a, I wouldn't say we're a small niche, but we're small enough that we all work together for the same goal and everybody can benefit from that. There's no reason to get ugly about anything. There's plenty of business out there for all of us, and we all have the same mindset of taking care of the customer. The customers are gonna benefit, which ultimately grows the industry, which helps all of us.
Yep.
Right. I mean, like KOAR, we have KOAR coming up here. That's one of the shows, because it's so local to us. We really look forward to going to it. It's in our backyard. But like I talked to Aaron at Artemis, and he's one of the vendors that may be there, and we compete in the same product. But I told him, come up to KOAR and sell all you want there. I'm not going to even push business there. For my business, I push for the sales of teardrops and the parts that go on the teardrops. So mine are more customer based. The customer is going to buy the parts from me there. where, you know, an expo, it's everybody buying. So I've already talked to Aaron and said, you know, if you're coming up, you know, don't even worry about, you know, just come up and sell parts, because it's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm just going after my customers at that point, you know. So hopefully he's going to come up and be part of KOAR. So KOAR is different than I'm going to put a plug in for you, Cindy. KOAR is different than most expos you'll ever go to. Vendors get to actually leave their booths during the day and go out and have fun with everyone else and go four-wheeling, do the trail rides. So it's so worth it, because if nobody's there during the day, why don't we get to go out and have fun with them? So, and honestly, you kind of open 24 hours 7 at any expo you go to. But KOAR is something pretty special, because we actually get to go out and do all these trail rides and then come back and hang out with everybody, have a beer and show trailers and stuff off like that. But get along with your peers. You know, if somebody's selling the product, you know, it's Chris, you saw it. How many people are selling the same product at your show? I mean, but they all get along. We're not out there saying, hey, my product's better than yours. I mean, it's who you connect with.
I want to add, Todd and Joe, that
Bless
we
you.
are also
Thank you.
going mountain biking and kayaking during KOAR. And bless you,
Correct.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Can't wait. That's the best.
What?
The mountain
Better
biking.
than-
Is that what you said, Joe?
Mountain biking is, I mean, Copper Harbor. I mean, come on, it's an IMBA ride.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that.
We're gonna be at the bottom of the mountain. I can't. That's geeking me out right now.
Yeah, I'm bringing the kayak, mountain bikes, and the motorcycle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm bringing a medic.
really,
Somebody will need it.
Jack
Sanitizer.
Jack Flood is a medic.
oh yeah, there you go. He'll live feed it too.
there was a last year. There was a friend of mine that was up there that same day we were riding at KOAR, and he took. I'll send you the video if you want a big like a. Ooh, he took a spill and a half, and it was caught on film. So
Oh, wow.
it was a good 30-something foot drop he was attempting, and he didn't finish it.
Oh man.
Jeez. Very cool. All right. Well, so to kind of wrap it up, we might be able to combine these last two questions a little bit, but we were going to talk about kind of what your plans are, you know, once the travel bans lift and things start to free up again, and also, you know, anything that you guys might be offering as far as like ways to overcome people having to come to your physical locations or anything like that. So we want to kind of run through just plans / your plans for your business in the future and kind of run down the list that way. Just everybody take turns and take your spin at the wheel, if you will.
I don't know about plans for business, but my plans personally are to get out and do some freaking camping and get by a river somewhere. I cannot wait to get around a campfire, man. I'm itching.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing some damage assessment and then getting out, enjoying nature. I am dying to get on my paddleboard and my mountain bike and do some camping. And I just kind of opened up an affiliate program for the KOAR event. If you want to earn a little bit of money
Cool.
for directing people to KOAR tickets, drop me a line and I can get you on that affiliate program. So
Very cool.
just chugging ahead.
Yeah. Let me know about that and I'll put it in the description on this video.
Yeah.
If you want me to.
Cool.
Cool. Anybody else?
For us, really, it's just being ready for everybody. You know, we want to get outside like y'all do. We have an obligation to make sure that we have everything we need for the store too. So we're really kind of focusing on gaps in our product mix and what we can do to fill those now while we've got some time. Yeah, it's an investment, but I'd rather be poised and ready. So that way, as we come into what could be summer already, you know, and people are wanting to get outside, you know, being ready for that. Believe me, we've canceled vacations and trips we had planned. I mean, we had a guide training class at our store. So all of that, it's, you know, once we start to see, it's like, all right, let's get back let's get all this stuff that we had to cancel. Let's get that all lined back up. So that way, the folks that were interested in those have that ability still. We don't want to take that away from them. So.
What else we got?
Yeah, for us, we're kind of let's focus there, I guess, a little bit. But you know, we're just like anybody else. We want to get back out. You know, our part is when we go to expos, that's our vacation too. So like when we do Overland Expo West is always our biggest one. We always typically will debut a trailer there or Canucopia. We try to debut a trailer at Moore. So luckily, you know, we couldn't get it done at Moore. Luckily, Canucopia got canceled, and Expo West got pushed out because we're still not done with the trailer. We're debuting. So, but we're looking forward to it, and we're disappointed. We always take a month to go out west, and a month when we go to the E-show, and take that time on the road. So it's kind of time for Carol and I to reflect on our business. You know, enjoy the outdoors, do what we like to do, use our products. We spend about 3 to 4 months a year. We spent 4 months of last year just in the trailer. And this year we're debuting a new one coming out. That's it's the bigger badass tandem axle teardrop that will haul an 800-pound Ural on the front. We're going after your adventure bike riders. We're going after a whole different market that I was already planning on doing before this, because as we know, the motorcycle crowd has money too. So, and they don't like to ride their motorcycles everywhere. So we're actually putting a bike on the front of a teardrop.
That's cool. And
keep like an 800-pound Urals that goes in the front's gonna give me about 400 pounds of tongue weight. So. Well, but yeah, it's coming out soon. It's I'm almost done. This weekend I think I get to show some pictures.
It's getting close.
Yep, it's getting real now.
There you go. I remember you were talking about it earlier in the wintertime. You were getting excited about it.
I have been wanting to do this for 14 years, and I thought 2020 we decided was the year, and then all this stuff got canceled on us. So it was like, you know. But we're following through with it because, you know what, we'll show it off in 2021 if everybody cancels this year. So, but we'll be out there.
Awesome.
So
cool. Anybody else? Joe, Kevin, you've been quiet, but I don't want to put you on the spot.
Oh no,
I just did.
Yeah. The only thing we're doing is when people get out, we start our business to highlight our local recreational assets. Trying to use outdoor recreation as a means to hopefully grow an outdoor active community. And us and a lot of other businesses are helping to change the perception of Rockford. I moved here 10 years ago from Chicago, kicking and screaming, and now I'm one of the bigger promoters of the town. And a lot of that has to do with outdoor recreation. So we're seeing a lot more people because they have no choice in the matter. The only recreation is walking on the path and stuff like that. And we're seeing more and more traffic and hoping that when we do reopen, that pent-up demand will lead to people wanting to go on kayaking trips or stand-up paddleboard trips or rentals or sales or what have you. So just anxiously waiting the gates to open.
Yeah. So Kevin, where are you out of?
Rockford.
Oh, you are in Rockford. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I missed that earlier.
Yeah, been trying to mind my P's and Q's and listen for once and not talk so much.
Hey, I got to add here, Todd, Kevin is a Yakima dealer, and I heard rumor that you guys were thinking about the road shower. I think Todd can tell you all about the road shower.
I can talk all day on
What
road
his
shower. I've been with
opinion-
them since the beginning. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
We'll take that offline.
Yeah. So, I mean, nothing but good from my side of it.
Good. Okay. Yeah, we tend to deal with the higher end of gear and apparel. I know that's a leading product in that space.
Yep. So I've been using it since they've been in business. So
cool.
Very Cool. And one thing about KOAR, I think we have an opportunity to sell a lot of road showers because there are no showers at the campground this year.
No, but
Just
you're wrong,
heads
Cindy.
up.
There's a lake.
There's a lake.
What?
There's a lake.
Cindy, if you have,
Yeah,
and
I'm not
Joe may
jumping-
know of this.
No.
Joe may know of this.
No.
I think they've stopped this. But after a long day mountain biking, you come into town, you come in past the Fitz, the Harbor House, and you got the public dock out there.
Right.
Yep. You
Yeah.
get to the end, you drop the bike, you go running, you dive in. And it's typically and you're stripping down as you're going. And it's typically when they're busy with dinner time.
Todd, have you ever been up there during the Mountain Bike Fest weekend?
We support a trailer up there. We've been doing that for 10 years.
Yeah.
Or
So,
8 years. This will be our 8th year now.
so they set up a ramp at the end of that dock for mountain bike weekend.
Yeah, not anymore.
No, they stopped?
They stopped 2 years ago, actually.
Oh. That was the best.
Yeah, insurance wouldn't cover it anymore.
Oh,
So
the big
yeah.
ramp.
But that, oh man, people went. My kids did it. Well, my oldest son was built trails up there, so we know Carol and I are really connected to the community up there because we've spent so much time up there, and we know a lot of people. But yeah, they had to stop it because of insurance reasons. But talk about the coolest thing ever.
It was.
Just to sit there and
Oh.
that place. I mean, 1,000 people sitting on the shoreline just to watch this.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome.
That sounds fun. Well, very cool. Anybody else? Anything else before we wrap up? Anything at all?
Well, we appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you
And-
guys.
And you and Chad had the
Patient.
best backgrounds.
Mhm.
I'm working on my background next time.
We can do virtual backgrounds, you know.
Making me wish I was in the shop.
Yeah.
Got a
Get a
couple
blue,
of
need to get
flavors.
a blue screen and have a camping background back here, like
Oh,
Here you
Yep,
could do
yeah.
Yeah.
like
Joe,
this.
Joe and Todd tied for the backgrounds.
You could do we got this one.
Well, here I could have given you the fire if I wanted to lay down, but
Or this one is good. I like that one.
There we
there
go.
you go.
The Zoom stuff is just, it's too much fun. I use this for work, but so it's like, as you can tell, I'm a child and I am shocked I have a job, but somehow I do. Hopefully this thing pans out someday and that way when I lose it, then it won't be a big deal.
Yeah. Chris pulled a good third. At least he has some overlanding gear back there,
Yep.
camera bag or something.
Smart.
There's a naked lady over there.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah.
He's the
So,
winner.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's an old statue out of the bar that my dad used to go to when I was a little kid. I remember sitting at the end of the bar, but it sat on the bar and everybody rubbed it on their way. So she's wearing a bikini that's painted on, but certain parts of the bikini are rubbed off. It's kind of funny.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
that's the perfect way to end this. So yeah, thank you guys again.
All right, guys. So that was the show. So I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Thank you very much to all my guests. As I mentioned, there's going to be links to all of their websites and social media accounts down below in the description. So if you want to check them out, if you want to give them a follow, if you want to support these great companies in this sort of time of need as this coronavirus stuff goes on, definitely click on those links down below. Definitely go check them out and feel free to buy stuff from them and support them and sign up for, future events and things like that for the folks that put those things on. So again, thank you so much for stopping by from Fletch at All Things Overlanding and all the vendors and store owners that were on tonight. Thank you very much for watching and look forward to talking to you next time. Take care.